So I have a grandson and a granddaughter, and they both like old Buzz Lightyear pretty much. So I'd seen a design, I think it was on Pinterest or something. It had the Buzz Lightyear rocket ship. I think it was originally made out of cardboard or something like that. So I got to looking online, and I found a electronic control panel. I thought would be pretty neat to make and put in there, and kids would get some joy out of it. So I'll just go over the brief description of what I did here and my mess ups and how you can hopefully avoid them. First thing I did, got online and learned how to make a 6-sided plywood base that was actually usable. I had tried several times on my own, but then I found the formula that makes it really easy to do by just drawing a circle and using the radius to make your sides. So the radius of the circle will give you the length of your sides for a pentagram. So, or excuse me, not a pentagram, whatever the 6-sided geometric figure is. So after doing that, I used some regular 2x2s. Sorry about that. Regular 2x2s or 1x2s on the inside. But on the one side that has a seat, I used treated 1x2s, as they're a lot stiffer than the regular pine 1x2s, and I knew that side was going to have a lot of weight bearing on it because of the bench being on that side. Plus, it'll give a little structural rigidity to the whole spaceship. Okay, so I put hinges on the fins, the rocket fins here, so in case the kids kick them or whatever, they'll just bend over. So it's no worry there unless they kick them the other direction, that's more than likely to happen. But if they're coming out of the door and walking around, they'll probably kick them. But I've got some double-sided tape that when it's in position, I'm going to go ahead and put the double-sided tape to keep them in position. They'll still be able to rotate if they get hit hard enough, but that's for mainly through getting it through the door and ease of transport. Still got to take it over to the grandkids' house. They came over last night, and my grandson, who has Downs, wouldn't get out of it. He just loved it. So let me go inside and show you what I did. These angles tore me up for a while, but once you get used to your 30 and 60 degree angles and where they go, it's pretty simple. So let's go inside and look here. What I did is I put some strip lighting up in there, LED strip lighting in the roof, and right here and one on the other side. And I got those at Walmart. They're for vehicles, 12 volt, but with my 9 volt power supply, they work just fine. So originally I found this control panel online. A guy has a video explaining how it works, and I don't know if that's focused or not. I can't see too good. I don't have my head inside, but I'm not real pleased with the design of this thing. Of course, these switches were wired up a little differently. They controlled both lights. This switch did, but what I did is I just staggered them and made them control different lights, so it's not so symmetrical. Anyway, down here on the bottom is what I don't like, and if I had to redo this, the schematic, I would definitely change these, and I didn't realize it worked at the time. I just wired them all up. But if you turn all the switches off, one on each side, there's 4 switches on this side, 4 switches on the bottom, and they control each row of lights vertically and horizontally. What I don't like is if you turn this switch on here, nothing happens. It's giving power to this row of lights, but it doesn't have its ground because it comes from this side. You're breaking the hot over this side and the ground over this side until you turn this one on. Then you get one light, and it works like that all the way down. And I don't care much for that, because if a kid walks in here and he turns one switch on, nothing happens. So I would change this, the wiring on these LEDs. And by the way, you can get all this stuff through Amazon, or really cheap. Main power switch kills power to this whole panel, turns it on. Of course, it's got the Buzz Lightyear figurines everywhere on it, and you can get this this template. It's a PowerPoint template that you can get right off the website. If you just Google spaceship control panel, you'll come across it, and it's makes it really easy to do. I just printed it out, used some single-sided adhesive clear laminate, and put it over the printout, the paper printout. Then I put it underneath the plexiglass, marked where the holes go, drill the holes, and put it all together. It's fairly straightforward. So after I built this control panel, I said, well, listen, this thing is kind of simplistic. I wanted something that would do a little more, so I designed and built a couple of control panels over here on the other side. I've got an analog voltmeter here, a digital voltmeter, and they both got 2K ohm pots on them, so you can run them back and forth. Now 2K is not really exactly right for 9 volts. I messed up a little bit on my Ohm's law, so someone with a little bit better math, but the range is not really that great. It goes up to 8. Really, actually, there's 9 volts, so it's killing something at the end, and goes down to almost 0.7, but it gives the kids something to twist and turn and play with on both meters. Also have a little buzzer here that I put on there. I think that's the laser gun, and a little high-pitched thing, which is the torpedo. Got main power here. It kills power to the whole spaceship. Also, I ordered a little voice recorder that you're able to plug your phone into and download a WAV file to. And what we did, we put a countdown, and then one of my grandson's favorite songs. And it's got like 2.5 minutes recording time. They really enjoyed that, and they kept it going the whole time they were in there. They'd continually repress the button and let it play their song and the count off thing, and they got really excited when the countdown came along. That was like $7 on Amazon, so it's a really good decision to make those. Then after I built that panel, I said, well, I was going to wire the lights on to come in with the main switch here, main power switch. The lights would just come on. And I said, well, let's put a little button. I went to Radio Shack, got a little button, and we can turn the overhead lights on and off with that switch. And this other switch, I had a old firearm siren, 12-volt siren that I mounted on the outside of the vehicle, and it's called the mom deflector. And if they press that button, it's really, really loud. So that worked out pretty good. Mom will probably put some duct tape over that thing before it's all over with. Oh, I forgot to mention, these LEDs on here are color changing LEDs, so even with all the switches on, it changes color every few seconds and gives the kids something to look at. Keeps things interesting. My grandson loves his iPad, so I built him just used a little hinge here, and I built him an iPad holder that folds down, and when he's sitting in the seat right here, he can put his iPad there and watch a movie, whatever. I put a porthole in the back side. There's no plexiglass on it. It's a complete it's just an open hole, and there's one in the door also to allow for air circulation and whatnot. And I put him some little stickers around. I also took purple fabric, and covered the roof, because with all my bracing it was pretty ugly up in there. So we just covered it all up with some fabric I got at the fabric store, and stapled it up with my staple gun. I think that's about it. One mess up I did have is on the door. You'll notice that there is a little gap here, right here. I had to add some wood and wood filler there. When I finished this and I made the door last, and I went to put the door on, I noticed that this frame, the outside frame of the door, wasn't completely square, and the door, no matter how hard I tried to brace it up, I couldn't match up with the unevenness of the door frame. So I had to do a little jury rig in there, but it come out all right. None of the kids have said anything, so I think it's all right. Put some 1x2s on the door to give it some rigidity. Oh, the doors are just made out of that real thin paneling you can get. It's like $19 a sheet at Walmart. For this whole thing, I think I used a little less than a sheet and a half. So if you're you have the time. Oh, that caution tape at the bottom came from Lowe's. It's for walkways and whatnot. It kind of sets it off. And there's 2x4 base under the 3/4 inch plywood on the floor to lift it up. I used an old 9-volt power supply here. I'm not sure what it is, and it's not going to focus, so. And I don't have my glasses on, so it's a Sony something. Anyway, it's a 9-volt power supply. A 9-volt all the way up to a 12-volt power supply will work with this, because the top lights in the first control panel, these lights on top here are 12-volt LEDs. Now these are 4 or 5-volt LEDs, and at Radio Shack you'll have to get the small little I think it's 10 to or 7 to 30 volt voltage regulator. It knocks it down to 5 volts, which is what you'll need for your LEDs. And also the little thing that I ordered from Amazon that plays the music and does the countdown and all that. That also takes 3 AA batteries, so it's 4.5 volts. So I used a voltage regulator from Radio Shack. They're only like $2 or $3 to knock the voltage down on that, and that come out good. So everything said, the kids love it. It took me about 7 or 8 days to put together. Oh, but he has a Buzz Lightyear figurine. This is where Buzz sits. It's wanted to make him a seat, but really didn't have room, so I just put him a little rubber hose mount in there, and Buzz Lightyear fits in there pretty good. So yes, that's about it. Kids really enjoy it, so if you got the time and the inclination, I'd suggest you build one for them. They'll love it. Take care.